Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out an all-time rock masterpiece. This is Tush by ZZ Top. Fantastic fun to play. A great one if you're getting cooking in a band as well. Really great for working on your shuffle feel. Just loads of cool things to explore. I'm going to show you pretty much what's going on the record, but importantly I'm going to show you some of the approaches that get played live a lot. Billy Gibbons does a few things live that he doesn't seem to do on the record that work real great. I'm going to show you a few little kind of the tricksy things, a few little details that I've only picked up on in the last few years as well. So I'm going to show you kind of the simpler version and a few more of the detailed things if you want to take it to that next level. Let's get stuck in. Starting off with the riff. Now the first thing many of you are going to notice, we need the thumb to play the bass note here, the note G, 3rd fret of the thickest string. Now what's really important when you're playing a note with your thumb like this is it wants to feel comfortable. It's not like flat the pad of the thumb, it's kind of like the edge of the thumb, right where the knuckle is. I think the easiest way to find that is to put your 3rd finger down covering the middle 2 strings. The tip of the 3rd finger will be muting the 5th string, by the way, but if you're just putting it in place for now, and then try and experiment with moving your hand around a bit like you're holding a kind of a baseball bat grip and trying to find that spot where you can play with the edge of your thumb there to get that bass note. You're going to use a bit of palm mute there from the picking hand anyway. So just, you might find you get all of this stuff, but just try and experiment, wiggle your hand around until you find that spot where it's kind of comfortable, because that's the thing with this thumb over thing, it's supposed to be comfortable, so you need to find the way just by experimenting with your elbow position, your hand position, where you can get that bass note that doesn't feel too awkward. That's what you're aiming for. It might feel tricky if you've never done it before, but that's aim for it feeling nice and comfy. Now 3rd finger is going to be playing the middle 2 strings. I see sometimes people using fingers 3 and 4. You can do that, or you can just use your 3rd finger, it doesn't really matter. You see we're playing the thumb, 1 and 2 and 3. So thumb, thumb, chord, thumb, chord, chord. And then we're just going from the 5th fret to the 3rd fret. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Noticing here this little slide back on the and after 4 with the thumb going from the 1st fret up to the 3rd fret. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. I mean, it's just an all-time classic riff, that one. Really good fun one to play. Making sure that you get the rhythm right. If you need to slow it down a little bit, do that. Again, playing along with the original recording is a really great way of locking into the groove, because it's got a great shuffle. It's not, which would be straight. It's got that, like a blues. It's definitely got that feel. I often think when I'm learning stuff like this, I'm playing along with the original recording and I'm trying to absorb that, I call it the time feel. I'm trying to absorb exactly that right amount of shuffle. So spend a little bit of time, I would recommend, just on that first part. Once the vocal comes in, it's the same kind of riff, but it shortens it just to the first chunk of it. So you end up with this. Does it 4 times. Bass, bass, chord, bass, chord, chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And I quite often hear, very often as a kid, I used to add the little climb up there, but that's the bass part. It stays doing all of the way through, then to C. Now, there's some interesting things that happen when it goes to the C. For the longest time, I played it like this. Which, if that's what you want to do for now, that totally works. Just a regular shuffle on C, 3rd fret, 5th fret, little finger's got to go down on the 7th fret. Some people play it 1st and 2nd finger. I tend to do it that way. Doesn't really matter whichever one you choose. But note, that's not what Billy does. So Billy live these days goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and does this little climb up in a sec. So it's just a C power chord, then 3rd finger sliding up to the 7th fret on the still on the 5th string, 5th fret, 7th fret on the 4th string, and then back to the C. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. May as well discuss that now as well. So it's going C1 on the C. And this little climb up. Open 1st, 2nd, 3rd, but of course Billy will be using his thumb. So he'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so you can use your thumb there for the climb up. Like I said, for the longest time I did which totally works. But here's the rub. On the record, it's different again. There's another cool little, super nice little trick that he uses on the C chord, which is this. Start with a regular open C chord. Now lift off the 2nd finger and make sure that your 3rd finger is laying down to mute the 4th string, because you don't want to hear that string. What you want to hear is the open 3rd string and the note C with the 1st finger 1st fret on the 2nd string. Now you're going to use your 2nd finger to go down in the 2nd fret on the 3rd string. Little finger can go down on the 3rd fret on the 3rd string. So this is the same as going like this. But you can see that's quite, especially here, that's pretty stretchy, you know. And here, it's a lot easier. There's no stretch, and you get that C note at the top, which makes it sound like the record. It's one of those things I'm listening to it going, that isn't how I used to play it. There's something else going on. As soon as you get that C, it's so right. Okay, so for the verses, let's just start on the G. And again, 3rd time, 4th time, C. Climb up to the G. To the D, C, talk about this in a second, G. Then a classic little Billy Gibbons jazz chord up the top. Now, when it goes to the D, it is using that classic shuffle, I'm pretty sure, on the record and for the rhythm guitar behind the solos as well. One thing that I think is worth noting is that it's 2 picks on each note. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Not, which a lot of people do that. I think it's 2. And here, so D for 1 bar, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, G. And now we got the G version of our C chord that we had before. 3rd finger is playing the root note, 3rd fret of the thicker string, muting the 5th string, and then we're playing the middle 2 strings open. We're just avoiding the B string. It doesn't matter if you play a little bit, it's not gonna matter too much, but we're mostly targeting a strum, thickest 4 strings. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1. Really cool trick to remember this one, because then you can move to a C, to G, D. Just do your classic 12 bar, just to show you using that idea. Okay? Does that on the G, and then this. Now this is E flat 9 to D9. It's the same as this, the top part of this. If you happen to have learned that chord before, you might want to use that one, but definitely the one Billy uses is this shape. So we're starting here. This is 10th fret, 11th fret, 10th fret, 11th fret. This is an E flat 9. We're not playing the root note. The root note will be here at the 11th fret, and then he drops it down 1 fret. So this is a D9. So G, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4. Again, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4. That would be the standard progression. Let me take you one time all of the way through that. So let's start with the riff. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2. Go into the verse. Climb up to the G. D shuffle, C shuffle, G, the 9th chord. Such a fun riff to play. But there are a couple of other things that Billy does live that I think are worth checking out as well. So first of all we had this on the C. Instead of doing this, Billy's often live. He does this. It's like a little blues riff again. So 3rd fret with the 1st finger on the 5th string, 7th fret with the 3rd finger on the 5th string, 5th fret to 7th fret on the 4th string, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Then he's got the climb to the G. Again the C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now live, he very rarely seems to be playing this shuffle, at least these days. He's playing a D7 like this. This is 5th fret, 4th fret, 7th fret. Just playing 5th string, 4th string, 3rd string, although it depends on which live version you listen to. Sometimes it's more where he's just playing the 5th string and the 3rd string. So very often he's doing this lovely little, call it a Robert Johnson turnaround. So little finger on the 3rd fret of the thinner string. You're probably going to play that with your driving finger. And then your 3rd finger, 2nd finger, 1st finger, open, same frets, 3, 2, 1, open on the D string. You're playing obviously play together, thinner string together, thinner string together, thinner string. And then the little 9th thing. So D, or let's do D, C to G. It's just such a great fun riff to play. And again, this isn't one of those ones where you have to play it exactly the same, because Billy's not playing it live the same as it sounds on the record. Obviously on the record as well, there's a load of overdubs going on as well, different guitar layers which you can't emulate in a 3-piece live, so he's having to make choices there as well. A lot of the things going on with the bass part as well. The bass really fills out. It really is a power trio. The bass lines are really weaving around the harmony in a real beautiful way. Again, live, you just have the bass with the slide guitar. On the original recording, I'm fairly sure it's a straight ahead shuffle there going on for the rhythm guitar. So rather than doing the riff, it's just doing to the C. Yeah, actually, I remember now, it's got that little step up in the rhythm guitar part underneath the solos. I'm not going to take you through the solos now. They're beautiful, genius guitar playing going on there. I find his style fairly difficult to emulate, and it's quite a lot of work for me to learn those solos. But if there's enough requests below, if you really, really want the Billy Gibbons slide guitar solos, let me know. He does some really interesting stuff, particularly with the slide, because he puts on his second finger, which is a really unusual thing, but it does mean that he's got his first and third fingers there for playing the riff. Have I got a slide here? I have. So he puts the slide on that finger and he can still, while still, this guitar is like the guitar that's not set up for slide guitar. It's got a really high action, really low action, so it wouldn't work for slide guitar even at the best of times. But do let me know if you're a big fan of that and you want me to start cracking onto some of his solos. I absolutely love them, and it would be a great excuse for me to go about trying to get some of those down as well. Do let me know in the comments what other ZZ Top songs you'd love me to do lessons on. Hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for plenty more very soon. Bye-bye.